Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down the 7-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. YouTube continues to tell me about 60% of my audience watching these videos is not subscribed, so if that's you and you're consistently coming back, or if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the content throughout, if you could do that, that would be awesome. On the way to 500, so thank you to everyone that has subscribed so far and supported in the comments, either by hitting the like button, commenting on my videos, any of the above, my patrons. Thank you, everyone. And speaking of that, if you are interested, I do offer some further content over here on Patreon, where you get access to my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play context stats, core plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access. Getting a lot of good feedback over there. Currently have about 8 members. And when I get up to 25 members over there, I will be giving away a free lifetime subscription, all sports to one lucky winner. So that'll include NFL, MLB, NBA, MLB coming up here soon. I do cover that as well. So looking forward to growing over there, growing the channel. Thank you, everyone. And let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. First game on the slate, Dallas taking on Orlando. As far as the Vegas totals are concerned, this game right now comes in with a 223.5 over-under with a 7-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. Expected to be a fairly decent game, and Dallas expected to win this one fairly easily. Kristaps Porzingis is listed as questionable in this one, so keep an eye on his status. As far as his latest update, it does look like he is probable, so I'd expect him to be in this one. Not really getting quite enough minutes to really be all that appealing at his price tag, so just buyer beware there. Very good fantasy per minute producer, but the minutes have been somewhat capped. Luka Doncic at 10-7, decent play taken on this Orlando squad. The only problem is when Kristaps gets added into the equation, his usage does take a hit. Priced all the way up to 10-7 recently, only putting up 60, 32, and 50 DraftKings points. I mean, 60 is fairly respectable, but he was up to 11-2, and I don't think there was any Kristaps in that game. And now he's up to 10-7. With Kristaps, so I think his upside somewhat capped compared to what we were seeing before. Of course, he can have a big game, but not as likely. Nikola Vucevic at 10-2, I think, is a great play in the spot, taking on this Dallas defense that has not been good all season long and continuing to get a ton of usage. There's no Aaron Gordon. This guy is definitely dominating his team as far as touches and shots, and then not to mention he gets the rebounds. Easy double-double upside with room for more. And then you got Evan Fournier, Terrence Ross. They continue to be great plays. Evan Fournier specifically playing mid-30 minutes, putting up 37 DraftKings points last time out. He's going to continue to play mid-30s and get a lot of usage, so he makes a ton of sense. And then you got Terrence Ross off the bench. There is no Cole Anthony. He's going to continue to be relied on pretty heavily for scoring. Only putting up 15 to 21 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. He is fairly scoring dependent, but when he starts to shoot it well, he can stroke it from behind the arc, and he can score in bunches real quick for you. So, now as far as anyone else on the Dallas side, I mean, when you're getting down here, it's getting kind of too cute for me. I'm not really all too interested in anyone else in this game, so we can move on to the next one. Indiana take it on Philadelphia. This game right now has a 223.5 over-under with a 5-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. We got Embiid listed as questionable, Brogdon listed as questionable, Tobias Harris listed as questionable, Joel Embiid a true questionable, Malcolm Brogdon a true questionable, and Tobias Harris is a true questionable. So none of these guys getting an update to say that they're probable now. So how that's going to impact. I mean, if Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris are both out, Ben Simmons becomes just a tremendous play at 8-8. So keep an eye on that one. And then if one of these guys is out, the other two, of the three, and Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid become great plays. So that's definitely important news to keep an eye on. That's how that would affect. And then of course, if both of them are out, it's going to go down to guys like Dwight Howard at 3-5. If Joel Embiid's just out himself, Dwight Howard becomes a valid play. But then also, Seth Curry, Shake Milton, all these guys are going to become much better plays. Mike Scott. If the two of the main pieces on the team are out, that's going to have a big domino effect on the other guys and who's getting shots. And then if Malcolm Brogdon continues to be out, we got TJ McConnell at 6-1, who's, a little bit of a revenge narrative here, a long-time Sixer, so you can play him. And this guy's fantasy point production is just really good when he's on the floor. He's just fully always a hustle player, so you're going to get the assists, the points, the rebounds, the steals, the blocks, all of the above with TJ McConnell. So he's definitely a good play if there is no Malcolm Brogdon. And if there's no Malcolm Brogdon, look for a usage bump to guys like Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner. Both, second fiddle to, well, I mean, Domantas Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon, they're pretty even, but Miles Turner kind of takes that second fiddle role when Malcolm Brogdon's in. So he becomes a much more viable play, and I'm going to have a lot more interest in him. And that's pretty much what I'm looking to in this game. I mean, TJ McConnell, I had already mentioned. Then you're looking at also Justin Holiday and Doug McDermott. They also get a bump up in minutes and usage if there is no Malcolm Brogdon. So both these guys become much more valid plays in the mid-tier, 4-8 and 5-1. I would have no issue going there. And lastly, Danny Green. I mean, if all these guys are out on the Philadelphia side, Danny Green makes a lot of sense. Playing 37 minutes last time out, that game did go to overtime. He only put up 26 DraftKings points, but there's room for much more upside if these guys are out. Denver taking on Chicago. This game right now comes in with a 231 over-under with a 5.5-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Expected to be a pretty fast-paced game. Definitely going to have some interest in this game. Zach Levine is listed as out right now, and he is not the only one because there is... Well, this is actually kind of confusing because of the health and protocols of the last game was canceled. So I think there might be some false outs listed here on the Chicago side. I think everyone on the Chicago side still has the out on DraftKings. Yeah, so I don't think Zach Levine's actually going to be out. And I don't know if this game's going to play because of this COVID tracing stuff. But so what I can tell you is Lauri Markkanen has been out. Expect him to be out. And the rest of the guys, probably going to be in this one. If the game plays, quick breakdown because this is a little confusing, but Kobe White, Zach Levine, both top priorities for me. Wendell Carter Jr. is third on that list. Those are the three main guys that be playing from the Chicago side. And then on the Denver side, you're looking at Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Will Barton. So kind of a core four on both sides, I guess you could say. So you got Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, and Will Barton. On the Chicago side, you got Zach Levine, Kobe White, Wendell Carter Jr., and Thad Young. Now, I would prioritize those guys in the order of, based on price tag, I'd go Kobe White, then Zach Levine, then Wendell Carter Jr. on the Chicago side. And on the Denver side, honestly, all four of these guys I feel pretty confident depending upon the lineup build that you're going with. The Chicago defense just hasn't been good, and there continues to be no Paul Millsap and JaMychal Green, so I'd expect these guys to continue to get a lot of minutes. But I mean, Nikola Jokic is the most obvious play at 10-8. I love targeting the Chicago front court. They're not good defensively. I don't think that Wendell Carter Jr. is going to be able to slow down Nikola Jokic at all. So at 10-8, definitely love me some Nikola Jokic on this slate at the center position. Utah taking on New Orleans. This game right now comes in with a 235.5 over-under with a 6.5-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Another fast game. Quite a few fast games to go around on the slate, honestly. Definitely some good game environments. As far as this one's concerned, the Utah side, I continue to say they're getting back to be fully healthy, so it's a little bit harder to target them. However, they get a great matchup taking on this New Orleans squad that has been playing fast and not playing defense. So, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson at 6'5" and 6'4", both make a lot of sense to me. Mike Conley should be returning after taking a rest last time out. Jordan Clarkson, 6-man off the bench at 6'4". I think he has plenty of upside at that price tag. So both them making a lot of sense. Donovan Mitchell priced all the way up to 8.6. I'm not sure that I'm all too interested in him just because of all these guys coming back. These pieces are kind of affecting his usage. However, with that being said, I mean, if there was ever a spot for him to reach his ceiling, this is it. This New Orleans matchup is going to be ridiculous. So if you find yourself able to get up to that salary range, I would not talk you off him. And lastly, Rudy Gobert at 7'4" makes a lot of sense as well. On the Zion side, I almost said. On the New Orleans side, Zion Williamson at 9K continues to be a beast out there, getting 50-plus DraftKings points a game practically, high 40s. The only problem is, and I will continue to say this, his ceiling seems to be at 50. He keeps getting you 50 consistently. That's great, but he can't seem to get up more, and his price tag keeps climbing. So I don't know if I really want to go there when I can pay 8.4 for Brandon Ingram, who I do think could get me more based on his scoring upside. I think he could literally give me 55 DraftKings points at a cheaper price tag in the same position. So at power forward, Lonzo Ball is a great play at 6'8". He continues to make sense as well. I mean, it's Lonzo, it's Zion, it's Brandon Ingram. Those three really making a lot of sense on the New Orleans side. And then once you get past that, maybe we could play Steven Adams at the 5'4". They're going to need a big body taking on the likes of Rudy Gobert. But Rudy Gobert, very good defender, so I'm not really sure I'm trying to go there in this one. That'd be everyone I'm interested in that game. Brooklyn taking on San Antonio, another fast-paced game here. This game comes in with a 234.5 over/under with a 3.5 point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. So expected to be fast-paced. Once again, we got James Harden, Kyrie Irving. There is no Kevin Durant. Both these guys' usage is going to be through the roof, so they both make a lot of sense. James Harden priced up a lot more than Kyrie Irving, though, at 11K. I mean, for good reason, because James Harden, when he gets hot, he's got like 80 fantasy point upside. But I could say the same for Kyrie Irving on any given night. So as far as who we're prioritizing here, honestly, I would lean Kyrie when both of these guys are in, strictly because of the price tag gap. I mean, that's a big price tag gap. You're playing practically 2,000 less for a guy that could really match James Harden's upside. You could play both of them. James Harden's only a point guard. But, yeah, I mean, on any given night, James Harden's upside does outweigh Kyrie Irving's, but you got to factor in price tags. You're paying a full $2,000 more for the guy. It's like, why not take the guy that might be, if James Harden goes out there and puts up, I don't know, let's say James Harden goes out there and puts up 70, and then Kyrie goes out there and puts up 60, I would much rather have Kyrie Irving at 2,000 less with the 60 spot. So that's what I'm thinking about there. On the San Antonio side, I will continue to play DeMar DeRozan and DeJounte Murray if we find out there is no Keldon Johnson. Both these guys getting a big bump in usage, especially DeJounte Murray, really coming into his own recently, putting up 55, 51, 45 DraftKings points in an up-tempo game where they don't play defense. I love playing this guy, so he makes a lot of sense, especially if we get all these guys out. I mean, Derek White and Rudy Gay are already listed as out. Keldon Johnson is listed as questionable. If he's out, I'm going to really like these guys. If he comes back, a little less interest, but still definitely interested. And, yeah, that's pretty much the overall, who I'd be looking to in this game. You could be looking to a Joe Harris, a Bruce Brown on the Brooklyn side, but with Kyrie coming back, these guys just become far less appealing to me. So, I'd really just be focused on the two main guys in Kyrie and James Harden. I don't really think we need to get cute with anyone down there. The last thing I would mention is you can't play Jakob Poeltl and LaMarcus Aldridge, the two big men on the San Antonio side, because Brooklyn's defense down low doesn't scare me at all. So they also make some sense. Except the problem is Brooklyn keeps playing small with Jeff Green, so I don't really see them being relied on as heavily. I could see the San Antonio side going small with like a lot of Lonnie Walker minutes or something like that. So just buyer beware there. Cleveland taking on Houston last game. Well, sorry, second to last game on the slate before the Charlotte-Portland last game. Cleveland taking on Houston, 9 o'clock right now. As far as the Vegas lines are concerned, this game comes in right now with a 217.5 over-under with a 4.5 point spread in favor of the Houston Rockets. By far the slowest paced game on the slate, and by far the game that I will have the least interest in. Jarrett Allen at 8.5 is a valid play. He continues to kill it on the glass and just overall, but the problem is he's up to 8.5. I'd have a lot more confidence playing him in the mid 7K range than I do in the mid 8K range. So, good play, but slow-paced game, and you're sacrificing a center position where we have some pretty good options and guys that we've already discussed about, maybe like a Wendell Carter Jr. or Nikola Jokic or Rudy Gobert. A lot of other good options at the center position on the slate. Victor Oladipo is expected to be back, so I think that's going to cut into the usage of John Wall and make me not like him as much, and I don't like these guys overall because of the slower pace. And then on the Cleveland side, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, they're starting to get healthy. They're starting to get more bodies in the rotation. You got Colin Sexton. You got Jared Allen. You got Darius Garland. You got Isaac Okoro now. Windler. All these guys getting minutes. So, I mean, sure, you could play a Colin Sexton if you want, but I just got to be honest with you guys. At these price tags and the pace of the game, I'm just not all that interested. I don't think that these guys are even going to grade out that well in my projections. And just not all too interested in this one, in such a slow-paced game. I think there's going to be other options we can really lock in on. So, yeah. Last game on the slate, Charlotte taking on Portland. This game right now comes in with a 235.5 over-under with a 6.5 point spread in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. Another fast game. And another one where some injury news could be impacting this one, because if Gordon Hayward and Devontae Graham continue to be out, that's actually a big relevant news things, for the Charlotte side. Gordon Hayward, Devontae Graham. There is no update, but if they're both out, we're going to be loving this Charlotte side. Really liked them last night and really will like them again. LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, PJ Washington, Malik Monk, Miles Bridges. All of those guys I'd have a lot of interest in, especially if Cody Zeller continues to be out as well. So, yeah, I'm hoping all these guys are out, honestly, because I love just playing all these guys on the Charlotte side. Bridges, Monk, PJ Washington, Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball. All those guys. Just play them. Feel really confident in them if all those guys are out. If Gordon Hayward or Devontae Graham or one of those guys comes back, relative to their position, those guys are going to take a hit. So, for example, if Cody Zeller comes back, PJ Washington, the biggest guy that is on the court outside of Cody Zeller, is going to take a hit. If Devontae Graham comes back, Malik Monk will take a hit. Terry Rozier will take a hit. If Gordon Hayward comes back, the wing guy will take a hit. So it'll be P.J. Washington again and a Miles Bridges. So that's overall, what you're looking to there. And then on the Portland side, Damian Lillard continues to be a great play at 10-4. There is no CJ McCollum, so this guy's usage is going to continue to be very, very high. So continue to play him. And then you're looking at Enes Kanter at 7-2. I think he's a great play taking on the Charlotte front court. They do not scare me at all, especially if Cody Zeller's out. I'm going to love Enes Kanter. Robert Covington at 5'7". I think it's a great mid-range play, playing a bunch of minutes. Typically plays around 40 minutes a game. Has put up 20, 11, and 17 DraftKings points the last 3 times out. Really struggling. I think he can turn it around on this one because the Charlotte side does not play defense. And then you can play Derrick Jones Jr. or Carmelo Anthony if you want. Both playing pretty reasonable minutes as well. Personally, I would lean playing Robert Covington over both of them. I would order them in the order that they're actually priced at. Robert Covington, then Derrick Jones Jr., then Carmelo Anthony. And lastly, Gary Trent Jr. skipped over him, so sorry I'm rambling here, but it's true. Gary Trent Jr. continues to play mid 30 minutes in a great matchup here at 6K. Makes a lot of sense as well. And that is all for my overall breakdown. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Malik Monk. At this 5.5 price tag, this guy continues to be disrespected by DraftKings pricing based on his recent production, putting up 40, 33, and 32 DraftKings points. His DK point per minute upside has been very, very good at the 5.5 price tag in an up-tempo game, taking on this Portland squad. Now, of course, this is assuming that all those pieces or most of them are out as far as Gordon Hayward and Devontae Graham. If Devontae Graham comes back, Gordon Hayward comes back, that's going to kind of put an end to this plan. But I think that those guys could continue to be out in this one, and I'm going to absolutely love Malik Monk at this price tag if that's the case. 5.5, Malik Monk, fast, up-tempo game, getting the job done consistently, way too cheap in the mid-5K range, and I love him tonight. He is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Malik Monk. Get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. And then don't forget to check out my Patreon package, link below in the description. If you're getting real serious about NBA DFS, start winning some money, join the KJK DFS team. That is all from me in this one. Wish you all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.